So here we are in Kali Yuga, the age of darkness, according to the Hindu tradition, the Hindu time frames of different eras that occur during the life of the universe, the life of creation rather. So many universes. The creation, that cycle of creation, because it's not linear. It actually is a cycle. So in that age of darkness, why bother? If we know it's the age of Kali Yuga, if we know that things are going to get worse, why bother? Because we've been put here. And because in the scriptures, what we are told is, God says, whenever darkness is winning out over light, whenever adharma, unrighteousness, is winning out over dharma, righteousness, I incarnate in form on earth in order to bring light back to the darkness, in order to bring dharma back to adharma. And because our scriptures also tell us that that divine is in every one of us, which means that our duty, our dharma, is to bring light to the darkness. Now, we may not single-handedly be able to undo Kali Yuga, but we're not being asked to. We're simply being asked to bring back light to darkness, to bring back dharma to adharma. Because if not, we are failing in our duties. In the Bhagavad Gita, which if you come to satsang a lot, you'll realize it's sort of my go-to text, because that which occurs in our life, the questions that arise, I find so frequently. So frequently, I can look at the Gita, and actually Lord Krishna's already given the answer. I don't have to rack my brains. I don't have to try to think about it and figure out, oh, what did this one say? It's right there in the Gita. And in the Gita, Lord Krishna has made it so clear that the reason Arjuna has to fight this battle is not because he's definitely going to win. Lord Krishna does not say, oh, don't worry, you've got this one covered. Don't worry, I'm on your side. How could we lose? Interestingly, in all of these verses, in 700 verses of the Gita standing on the battlefield, if everyone could just take a moment and turn their phones off, that would be fantastic. Or on silent, that would be fantastic. I know sometimes we think they're off, but just take a moment and make sure they really are. So, in 700 verses, he doesn't say, don't worry, nothing to worry about, you're going to win. He gives him the entire Bhagavad Gita of why he needs to fight the war without ever once saying, and I promise you will win. And the reason to me that that's so important is the teachings are the same, whether you're going to win or not win. They're not the teachings that you give to someone who's definitely going to win the battle. They're the teachings you give to someone who must fight the war, whose dharma it is to fight that war. And so for us, our dharma here, yeah, it's Kali Yuga. Why have you been born in Kali Yuga? Why have I been born in Kali Yuga? Why have we all been born in Kali Yuga? Well, the whole karmic package for all of us has brought us here in Kali Yuga, in this age of darkness. Clearly, for some reason, nothing is random. It means we are the ones who can bring that light back to that darkness. I would not be very good on a battlefield. I don't know how to work a bow and arrow. I get scared very easily. Good thing, I was not the one standing in that chariot with Lord Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra who had to fight the battle because I couldn't do it. Arjuna was there who could do it, whose dharma it was to do it, and whose karmic package had brought together this warrior who could do it. So we are each given the tools, the ability to be able to do that which we are supposed to be doing. So never doubt that. Yeah, it's dark. But if every single one of us becomes a light, we will be able to change that. I deeply, fervently believe that nothing in the universe is random. And it goes against every aspect of God that I know inside me. To have us be here, jumping around, protecting water, protecting air, protecting soil, saving lives, just because it's this play that God wants us to do, and actually none of it is going to make any difference, and actually none of it could make any difference because it's all supposed to go to hell anyway. I don't believe that. It doesn't align with my experience or my belief in God. I don't believe anything is without reason. And so if we are here at this time with the tools that we have, with the compassion that we have, the empathy that we have, the pain in our hearts that we have at what is happening in our world, it's been put there for a reason. And the skills that we've been given have been given to us for a reason, like Arjuna was able to do that thing with the bow and arrow, because that's what he needed to do. We need to do something different. And so we've been given different skills and abilities. But that's for each of us to use them. To bring back that light. Remember also, again, that we're speaking cyclically, not linearly. And so it's a cycle. Something needs to bring back the light. It's not automatic. We need to bring back that light, bring back the truth. Who knows how it needs to start, when it needs to start? Let it start with us. That's what we're here for. And the good news is I'll tell you one last bit of encouraging trivia, you can say, about Kali Yuga. Because it's the age of darkness, because it's the difficult time, not just outside, but even inside in our minds and our own egos and our internal lives. When you have a negative thought, but you don't act on it, you don't get the negative karmic fruits of it. Okay? So if I have a thought that says, oh, I'd like to kill that person. But not only don't I kill them, I don't even trip them accidentally. I mean, I literally don't act at all on the thought. I just have the thought. I don't acquire any negative karmic fruits from it. Now, it's subtle and it's difficult because typically whatever we think, we tend to act on. But in a vacuum, if you understand, simply having a negative thought that I don't act on, unlike other yugas, unlike other eras, you don't get negative karma for having that thought. But if you have a positive thought, a good intention that you don't act on, you do get the good karmic fruit. So we actually have been given, it's like if you're going to race in a race and somebody's, handicapped or has a handicap in some way. Typically in a race, there's some way that they'll, let them start a little bit ahead or do something because they understand this isn't a fair race. This guy's fast, this guy's slow, so all right, he gets to start 10 feet ahead or he gets the inner lane. So in a way, God has given us sort of this handicap in Kali Yuga, that we get the credit for good thoughts even if we don't implement them. But we don't get the penalty for bad thoughts as long as we don't implement them. So that was sort of, I think about it as God's way of giving us a bit of a head start. Saying, yeah, I know your minds are going to be a mess. It's Kali Yuga. Just make sure you don't act on it. And I'm going to give you these teachings and techniques to help you work with your mind. So the mind doesn't trouble you and doesn't spur you to action. So with that head start, with that divine handicap extra that we've been given, we move forward. And we move forward to bring as much light in the darkness as we possibly can. Because if it was really supposed to be dark, we wouldn't have hearts that love. We wouldn't cry at other people's pain. We wouldn't have compassion. So the fact that we have all of those things still makes me know that we're not supposed to just dance uselessly, but actually that we are supposed to be bringing light as much as we can. And this is where that teaching of just surrender comes in. You don't think God knows it's Kali Yuga? Of course. And what that means is that which we are supposed to be able to do, those are the tools that have been given to us. That which we can't do, well, God knows we can't do it. But if we've been given initiative and we've been given a yearning and we've been given skills, let that be the signal to you that you can do it. If you can't do it, we very rarely in life, if you really think about it, we very rarely in life, when we are in tune deeply with our own nature, we very rarely have a deep, deep calling to do something that we absolutely cannot do. So for example, I'd love to be able to fly like a bird. But I never have this sense inside of like, I'm going to go up to the roof and I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to do it. The only time people do that is when they're on drugs. Nobody in any kind of personal alignment has such a strong inner calling to fly that they actually throw themselves off a rooftop. If you think about the things that you actually have deep callings to do, we have deep callings to love. We have deep callings to be loved. We have deep callings to share who we are, the gifts of who we are. We have deep callings to help. All of that we have the tools and the ability to do. So realize that when you're in alignment, when you have a calling, know that you can do it when it comes from deep within. And don't allow yourself to say, well, it's just Kali Yuga, forget it. Yes, it's very important. Because in this Kali Yuga, you have your own karmic package. And your karmic package of this life and of all your other next lives is going to be based by how you live in this life. And even in this life, we are told, be a tool in the hands of God, surrender. Be an instrument. Serve selflessly. Chant God's name. Not one of the enlightened masters of the Kali Yuga has said, oh, well, that Gita, forget it, that Ramayana, forget it, they belong to different yugas. Not one. If you had, over the last thousands of years, if there were even 5, say, enlightened masters who had said those scriptures don't apply here because we're in a different yuga, I'd say you have a case. But every single one of the enlightened masters, the sages, the saints, the rishis, have said, and again, we're not even looking only at the Hindu tradition. The other traditions might not refer to the Bhagavad Gita, for example, but they're giving the same truths just in different ways. Serve God, love thy neighbor. Right? Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Nobody says, eat, drink, and be merry because it's Kali Yuga and you can't do anything anyway. And so I have to believe that thousands of years of Kali Yuga enlightened masters, sages, saints, rishis, saying, follow these scriptures, follow these teachings. These are what we need to do. That clearly they know something. And when you've got so many masters who know something, why rack your brains trying to figure it all out again? Surrender. And do your part.